Hi, everybody. It's your podcast sister, Lisa, coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio. If you'd like to discover new music, then you've come to the right place. This is where you'll meet singers, songwriters, and musicians who are living the dream and talking about it on Podcast Sista. On today's show, I will be interviewing country music's rising star, singer-songwriter Robby Johnson from Nashville. Originally from Quebec, Robby has over 10 million views on YouTube and is approaching 8 million streams. His live show is said to offer the craziness and energy of Garth Brooks along with the sexiness and swagger of Keith Urban. Robby's here to talk about his music career and two of his singles, More Than You Think, released in September, and Road I'm On, just released on November 8th. Stay tuned and let's talk music. Welcome, Robby. Thank you for joining me on today's podcast.
Hello, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Well, this is terrific, and really appreciate having you spend some time to talk about your musical career and how you started back in Quebec and journeyed on to Nashville. Robby, every year there are thousands of people that go to Nashville with dreams of becoming the next rising star in the country music industry. And when I was preparing for this interview, I was intrigued about the time when you were growing up in Quebec. And I understand from a young age you were fascinated by all things American and you loved the television and music from the US and particularly Garth Brooks and Elvis and the Beatles. Did you ever see yourself as a musician one day growing up in Quebec?
Without even realizing it, kind of, but it was always there, and it's later in life that it's funny because I've lived so many different lives, I've worked so many different jobs, and the last one I was a sales rep on the road selling industrial products, and I'm a very creative guy. I grew up, we didn't have much, poverty and all that. So you have to use your imagination to make up for everything you don't have. So I'm very creative, and I would write songs and sing, in the shower, in the car, and people would hear me and they would tell me, "Hey, you're a great singer." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not a singer." So I didn't grow up, you know, watching myself in the mirror with the brush and singing and picturing me, visualizing me, being the star, the center of the of attention and all that. It wasn't like that for me. It came way, way later. I was given a, a Christmas gift, and my girlfriend back then, and she gave me this Christmas gift, which was a demo session in a studio to cut one of my songs, and that she would hear me sing, around the house. And I felt like it was back then, I felt like it was the worst Christmas gift ever because I didn't consider myself an artist and a singer. So I pretended I was happy about it, but it was like, oh my God, this is not the best gift. This is horrible. I'm supposed to have fun doing this, but I don't see myself doing this. But still, I went in the studio and decided to do a country rock song that I had written. I'll be there rocking and rolling so that the players would have fun, that everybody would have fun that day. It was not to cut a hit and and become successful. It was really to be done with it and everybody have fun. So I start singing and the guys stop me and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute. Who are you? Where do you come from? This sounds like Nashville. You should be in Nashville, buddy," and so I was still like, "Okay, let's do this. Come on, guys, let's just be done." But after, that day, I felt at peace with myself in the studio, the energy of the studio, and listening to my track in the car on the way back home. I felt something. And I guess I needed that little push. And it's the same for so many things in my life. Every time I say, I'm never going to do this. I always end up doing it all the time. I'm never going to be a waiter. I was a waiter. I'm never going to be a sales rep on the road. I was a sales rep on the road. I'm never going to have kids. I have two wonderful kids that I adore, and I'm never going to be an artist. And here I am,
Well,
10 years in
I
Nashville.
I know, and it's almost destiny. And I say this
Yeah.
often when I do podcast interviews. And like you said, you started at a later time in life. And just that story you told us about your girlfriend 10 years ago or whenever that was in time, that really was such a significant moment. I mean, first off, who even thinks of doing a gift like that? And how, too, like you said, you found a piece in the studio. And then three, the people listening, were like, oh my gosh, you should go to Nashville. And just that is just unbelievable. And I also feel too, when you were saying you grew up in Quebec and at an early age you enjoyed all things, American, and you had enjoyed Garth Brooks and Elvis and the Beatles, and how you traveled to Connecticut to be with your family and you learned English. I mean, that too is fascinating because, is that something that happens a lot where children learn a second language, or was that just a great opportunity for you?
In Quebec, I was like a part of the very few who could speak English at a very young age. Because, it's, I was oftentimes, practically all the time, I was way better in English than all my English teachers that I had growing up. And so that was very, yeah, like you said, it was very unique and unheard of, of someone that lives in Quebec to speak English and fluently without an accent. It was kind of weird, but yeah, I spent so much time in Hartford, Connecticut, and my godmother, she was amazing. She would finish her shift and drive 8 hours to come pick us up, and then drive 8 hours back. I mean, she was nuts, but I'm so thankful for everything she did. Oh my God,
Yeah.
she's a great woman.
Yeah, and you know, growing up in Quebec, from what I read in your bio, wasn't always easy for you. And I
Yeah,
appreciated your honesty and openness when I was reading your life story. And I found it particularly touching how you wrote that beautiful song, More Than You Think, which was a tribute to your grandparents who really stepped in to help you and your family, like your godmother that you mentioned, when your
yeah.
father left when you were only 5 years old. Tell us about the impact that had on your life and how you seem so relatable in many ways. Even the way we're talking, we've never had an opportunity to talk. You're so easygoing, you're so relatable, you're friendly. I mean, some people don't have that attitude in life after having a couple knocks along the way.
Well, I'm extremely resilient. Maybe too much, because sometimes I should, put my foot down and say this is enough, but I just can't. I'm so resilient, and I can go through the worst things and still find some kind of happiness through it, which is twisted, but that's how I'm made. But yes, my grandparents, huge influence. Just the fact that that's why we were going back, to Hartford, was for my grandparents, and all my relatives were there. They're also from Quebec, but thing is, there was a point in time where there weren't any jobs in Quebec, so a lot of people in Quebec moved to the New England area, and they moved to Hartford, Connecticut. for to get some jobs, and they brought everybody, their kids. But my mom had already started her family in Quebec, so that's why she's the only one that stayed back. But yeah, so spent a lot of time with them, learned English, and I got to say, my grandmother, she was an entertainer. She was the center of attention, and she would make everybody laugh, everybody have a good time, and make sure everybody has everything they need. And my grandfather, he didn't speak a lot, but I learned a lot just from by watching him. And that's the song. That's what the song is about too. Is that you might think that you showed me just a few little things, but you did more than you think because I was looking up to him and picked up on many of things he was doing and how he was acting and reacting, to life around him. And they were great people. They worked multiple jobs. They would send us money for my mom to be able to buy Christmas gifts because she couldn't buy Christmas gifts or even birthday gifts, and they would send in clothes and shoes, clothing, shoes, and all that, and make sure that it wasn't that bad because it was pretty bad. My father left. I was 5. He abandoned us. He was forced to send money. The court forced him to send money, but he didn't care. He was not like, calling here and then. He would never call, not even before school, to know, hey, do you have boots? Do you have, shoes? Are you good? Can you buy your books? Your school books? Is everything under control? He didn't call. He started a new life, got remarried. We never knew about it. So it was tough. It was really tough growing up and with poverty. But my grandparents, they, my summers were magical because we would go to Hartford, and also we would do these trips. We would go on those car trips and travel around U.S. and discover things. The Santa's Village, and then the Cowboy and Indians Village. I think it's Frontier Town. I'm not too sure. And like I said, she was an entertainer. I remember at Frontier Town, we hop on a train, and the train leaves. It's an attraction of the park, of the theme park, and then somebody stops the train, and it's robbers. They get in the train. They're like, dressed up as bad cowboys and all that with the handkerchief, and they're taking people's ladies' purses and stuff like that, wallets. And my grandma, she just put out a show. She was like holding on to her purse. No, no. And we were screaming. We were all screaming, they're going to shoot you. They're going to kill you. And we were crying and screaming. We believed it totally. And she was having a blast. And I get, a lot. I think I got a lot from her on that side, the entertainment side, but also being quiet and observe what's happening, like my grandfather used to do. He was very quiet, but he would observe and have lots of wisdom. And yeah, so they were great role models because I didn't have many, my father being gone and all that. And it was tough on my mom as well. So I found a lot of my role models from, we spoke, American culture, a lot came from TV. And when I first, started coming to Nashville, Frank Myers once asked me, why I was doing this and all that. And I just told him, hey, it's a way for me to give back to, the United States, because I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for the movies, the music, the sitcoms, the role models. And I don't know. I don't know what I'd be, where I'd be. I have no idea. And it gave me so much. So it's a way for me to give back.
Yeah. And speaking of your grandparents, I did see on your Instagram account the picture of your grandparents. And it's a black and white photo and an
Yeah,
old car in the background. I was trying to look and see
yeah.
what kind of car that was, but I couldn't tell. But
I'd have to rewatch it. I'm not too sure.
did your grandfather teach you how to fish? Because you had
He
talked about the lake.
I did fish with my grandfather, but it's really close. It's my uncles that taught me how to fish, and it was Uncle Chris and Uncle Luke, and yeah, so they really taught me how to fish, how to set up a hook and do all that,
Hmm.
and yeah, so it's a way for and I did, like I said, I did fish with my grandfather. But it's kind of a collection of all those things that were passed on to me.
Yep.
And
And
yep,
it's so nice because I saw that picture then on Instagram of you and your son with trophies for fishing.
yeah,
And the smile on your son's face is
yeah.
just, you are, I'm sure, a fantastic father, despite the fact of the life that you unfortunately had growing up. But your role models and those that were in your family and around you that loved you and
Mhm.
guided you, it's wonderful. And you have a daughter, correct, too, as well?
Yep, I have a daughter as well. She doesn't she's not into fishing as much. My son is crazy about fishing. He really loves it more than I do. And he he caught a 40-inch striped bass
Wow.
this summer. Late in the summer, we were in Maine, and from that little from a little river, and people were around. It's in Ogunquit Beach, and people were like, "Oh my God, this is crazy!" And everybody was screaming because they never thought such a big fish could come out of these waters. And he was going nuts. It was a lot of fun. Those are great memories. And but my daughter, what happens every time we go fish with her, she catches the biggest fish. I don't know why. She is so lucky. And it's like she's not even trying. She's like just like reeling the line back in, not knowing what she's doing. It's like, oh, I think I have a fish. It comes out, it's the biggest fish we caught in the day. It's so funny.
That's
She's very lucky.
that's great. So I want to play a snippet of the beautiful song "More Than You Think," which again was released in tribute of your grandparents, and it was released also on National Grandparents' Day, September 6th. So we're gonna go ahead and play a snippet, and if anyone out there listening wants to share it with their grandparents as well as enjoy the words and the lyrics that you wrote to that song, it's just one of a kind. It truly is. So here we go.
There's a light rain pouring down. The sky looks different now. Always thought that you'd stick around. Man, it feels like yesterday. All the weekends at the lake, with me looking up to you to be like you. All the Sunday drives in your old Chevrolet, all the memories and the good times that were made. But now I'ma shave my beard and act like a man, tuck this shirt and these black pants and go sit in the pew up front where you'd sit, but today you won't. I'll be standing tall, holding my tears. I gotta be strong for the ones that are here. I swear I'll do my best to take it from where you left it. You might think you showed me just a few little things, but you did more than you think. More than you think.
Robby, I love that song, and I'm definitely going to add that to my collection of music and add it to my podcast Sista playlist as well. So moving forward, um, I listened to a song on YouTube, and it was you singing in French, and it was a combination of French and English. And I want to try, and I'm not very good at any foreign language, but the name of the song was, mm, I can't pronounce it correctly. Name of the song, and I don't speak French, but this is, I'll give it a try. A Beau Dia Dois, and the name of the song, I think in English, is All Alone.
Yeah, au bout des doigts. Yeah, it's a tip of the fingers.
Oh,
That's what it means.
um, and anyway, because I couldn't figure it out, but I'll tell you, listening to that, even in French when you're singing, your voice crosses all languages. I mean, even though I didn't really know what you were saying in that particular song, you did go back and forth to English. You just nail it every time on every song that you have released. And there's something like 40 of them total throughout your career that you've released. And do you find that you just naturally are a great singer? Whether you're singing French or English, or do you take lessons, or have you studied? Fill us in a little bit.
I did take a few lessons, but someone told me, "Oh, you're gonna ruin your natural sound, and you're gonna start trying to, replicate the other people or whatnot." So I try to stay not away from it, but just be cautious of that. And also, it's a question of preparation in studio. I would say the greatest lesson I got from a vocal coach was when you sing, uh, you got to sing and really believe that what you sing is going to change people's lives. You got to believe that. It has to be your intention when you sing, and it has to come from the right place. It's not just singing, it's delivering, and it's also what you can't really hear, but it's there behind the vocal. It's the authenticity. It's, are you really feeling that? Does it match your persona? Does it fit together? So I try to do the best I can. Of course, for me, I don't feel like I'm good at all, because being an artist, we always second guess, and we're like, I'm not good, I'm not good. But thank you for the great comments. It's encouraging, but yeah, it's always there's always a big amount of stress going in the studio to track a song, cut a song, and like, oh, how is this going to sound? Am I going to be good enough? Am I going to deliver exactly what I want to deliver? Is it going to be believable, relatable? So it's tough. It ain't a hobby, like people say around here.
Yeah, yeah, and you certainly are hardworking and talented at the same time. And I had a hard time picking three snippets because all of your songs are fantastic. And I'm not just saying that.
Oh, thank
And
you.
your voice, I encourage everyone to, check out your music on Spotify and check out your website and all those things. But I thought it was fitting to play this song that you wrote and released back in 2022 from your album Alive Right Now. I love the
Mhm.
song If I Ever Was a Cowboy. And I want to
Yeah.
play it. And when we come back, let's talk more music.
I wasn't born in the heart of Texas, roaming wild and free. I wasn't raised in the ways of Jesus, oh, but now I see. I can't help but wonder what my life would be, if I ever was a cowboy far from the city. I'd be riding on a horse in a Chevy. I'd be working for a good life, be married to a good wife, and my kids would grow looking up to me.
I love that song and the video. Tell us the meaning, Robbie, behind this song for you.
Well, growing up, I was dreaming of, being a rancher or a farmer, or being close to nature and all that. It was kind of a dream growing up. But I knew it couldn't happen. It's funny because one time I was with my grandmother, and she had a big garden, and she was like, "Oh, go grab an onion," and I was like, "No, I can't." She's like, "Why?" Because I will love it too much. And I know that it can't be my life. So it's going to be more hurtful. So it's like, well, that's weird. Like, I know, but yeah, it's the life I wish I would have had. And the song is really, I wanted, to sing about the cowboys that are, every Sunday sitting on the church pew, and they have a family, they're hard workers, and their kids look up to them. And they're not, because oftentimes in country music, the cowboy is the bad guy that's always gone, that, break hearts and do all that. I wanted to sing about the good ones, and most of them are really good, like Cody Johnson. That's a great example of a hardworking cowboy, a rancher, who's a good role model, and his kids look up to him. And he's not, yes, he's on tour sometimes, but I mean, he's not doing that to get away from home. It's just, it's his passion, and his wife understands it. But yeah, I mean, there are good people out there in the stands listening to country music, and that are great cowboys, and I just wanted to sing about them as well.
You have just come out with a great new single, Road I'm On, and I want to close the show with that song. But before I do, give us some sense of what that song is about and the excitement of releasing it.
Yeah, this song has been close to me for a long time, waiting somewhere, and because it was hard to finish. This song is very personal to me. It's really my story. I kind of mentioned it. My dad left when I was 5, and it just broke me. And there's a part of me that will, that little 5-year-old boy is still inside of me, and he will never understand why this happened. Because at 5, your parents, it's your foundation, mommy and daddy, love, and the family, and all that. And then just like that, it's broken, and there's no way for a 5-year-old to understand what's happening. And I started a new life back then. I have memories of that time when my father was there. I have images, but no emotions. It's completely blocked. And so it had a huge impact on me. And the song, that's what it's the road I'm on. And it's a sad, sad song, never far from where I'm from. It's always going to be inside of me. It's going to follow me. It has an impact on what I do. And also, so much so that I'm right now, have a guitar and sing. And I'm an artist, and I think it's because of all that all together, blended together. And that's what the song is about. It's about, that pain that follows me, that will always follow me. And I just wish that it could go away, but it never will. So that's the song.
I can understand that, and I'm sure many of the listeners can understand, that heartfelt message that you just said and that this song carries. I appreciate you writing this song, and I really encourage everyone listening to add it to your collection, Road I'm On by Robby Johnson. And Robbie, could you tell us where our listeners can find your music and get some information about you and on social media? Can you just give us the info, please?
Yes, very easy. So social handle is Robby Johnson Music. So, and it's Robby with a Y. So Robby Johnson Music. You will find me on social media, and also if you look me up on any DSP digital service provider, Apple Music, Deezer, Spotify, Pandora, you will find me, Robby Johnson, very easy. And I got to say, thank you so much, everybody. When you share the music, when you add it to your playlist, when you stream it, you guys make it happen. You are the rock stars. I'm not. You guys are the rock stars. You're the ones that make it happen. I mean, even when there's a live show, if I'm alone on a stage, playing, nothing happens. It's when there's people in the audience that interact, that, they give me energy, I give energy back, and it's a communion, and they make it happen. So thank you so much, guys, for everything you do.
Well, thank you for being on the show and writing great music. And I look forward to having you back again on Podcast Sista and keep us posted on what you're doing and any other
Awesome.
new releases.
All right. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you so much. You can also check out my Christmas song.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
did see
Santa,
that. Oh
please.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You can check that out.
yeah. Tell us the name of the song.
It's Oh Santa Please. And a lot of people are telling me that I did a great cover, but it's not a cover. It does sound like a Christmas classic, but it's an original Christmas song. And I wrote it, but I don't think I really wrote it. It was gifted to me. It already existed. It was just gifted to me. And so I take the credit, but I don't really take the credit for it. But it's a great Christmas. Go check
Oh,
it out.
well, you know what? It's perfect timing. The holidays are
Yep.
coming up, and it would be a great gift item too, as well. Well, thanks again. And Robbie, that's a wrap.
Thanks so much, Lisa.
Feels like I'm going uphill since the day that I was born. Had to learn how to run before I ever knew how to walk. Poor mama did all she could when my dad ran away. Still I grew up thinking, I grew up wondering if I was the one to blame. This road I'm on, like a sad, sad song. This road I'm on, never far from where I'm from. This road I'm on, every mile, every stone. I'm looking for something that I've been missing for way too long. On this road I'm on, all my daddy left me was a beaten up guitar and a hole inside my soul, running errands through my heart. Now I travel around the world, singing each and every night. And I'll keep on singing, I'll keep on strumming this pain I have inside. It's the road I'm on, like I said, sad song. There's a road I'm on, never far from where I'm from. There's a road I'm on, every mile, every stone. I'm looking for something that I've been missing for way too long. On this road I'm on. Oh, I hope that one day, someday I can find peace of mind. There's a road I'm on, like I said, sad song. This road I'm on, never far from where